In the bustling streets of Surulere, Lagos, there lived a boy whose smile could light up an entire film set. His name was Chinedu Okafor, and by age 12, he was already a Nollywood sensation. Mothers across West Africa would point to their television screens and say, "See that child, so talented, so well behaved, I wish my own could be like him." But as our elders say, the snake that bites is the one that smiles while hiding in the grass. What nobody knew, not the directors, not the adoring fans, not even his own family, was that behind those innocent eyes lived something dark, something waiting. This is the story of how Nigeria's most beloved child star became its most terrifying killer. The rise of a star. Chinedu was born in a modest compound in Ajegunle, the seventh child of Mr. and Mrs. Okafor. His father sold spare parts at Ladipo Market. His mother was a petty trader at Balogun. They were not wealthy, but they were respected. When Chinedu was 8 years old, a Nollywood director named Uncle Emeka spotted him playing football in the street. The boy had something special, a face that the camera loved, and a natural ability to cry on command. "This one will be a star," Uncle Emeka declared. He was right. Within 2 years, Chinedu appeared in 17 Nollywood films. He played the sick child, the orphan, the boy who saw ghosts, the prophet child. Viewers wept at his performances. The money poured in. The Okafors moved from their one-room apartment to a 3-bedroom flat in Surulere. But success, as our people say, can turn sweet palm wine into bitter medicine. On set, Chinedu was every director's dream. Polite, obedient, always knew his lines. While other child actors threw tantrums or lost focus, Chinedu remained calm, focused, professional. "That boy is an old soul," the makeup artist would whisper. They had no idea how right they were, but not in the way they thought. At home, his siblings began to notice strange things. Their pets, a parrot named Coco, 2 chickens, a neighbor's cat, would disappear. When they searched, they'd find the animals in hidden places, lifeless, with injuries that made no sense. "Maybe it's those Agbero boys from the next street," Mama Okafor would say. But Chinedu's younger sister, Ngozi, had seen something. She'd seen her brother in the backyard, alone with Coco, and the look in his eyes was not the look of the brother she knew. It was the look of something else entirely. She tried to tell her mother, but who would believe such things about the golden child? The horror truly began when Chinedu turned 14. His co-star on a new film series was a girl named Amara, bright, talented, and full of life. She was 16, already being called the next big thing in Nollywood. On set, Chinedu and Amara seemed to get along perfectly. They joked between takes. They rehearsed lines together. But Chinedu had developed an obsession. One evening, after a long day of shooting in a rented mansion in Lekki, Amara disappeared. The crew searched everywhere, the bathroom, the garden, the parking lot. Panic set in. They called the police. 3 days later, a cleaner discovered her body in a locked storage room beneath the mansion's staircase. The sight was so horrific that the man couldn't speak for hours afterwards. Amara had been strangled, but that wasn't the worst of it. What had been done to her body afterwards? The police investigators, hardened men who'd seen Lagos at its darkest, had to step outside to vomit. The investigation went nowhere. No evidence, no witnesses, no suspects. Except one person knew. Ngozi, now 12 years old, had seen her brother return home that night with scratches on his arms and a calmness in his eyes that chilled her blood. She'd seen him burn his clothes in the backyard at 2 a.m. But who would believe her? Chinedu, the beloved star, the boy who cried on camera and made millions weep. The elder's warning. After Amara's death, Mama Okafor took Chinedu to see Baba Ifagemi, a respected Ifa priest in their hometown of Ibadan. Not because she suspected him. No, she wanted the Babalawo to protect her son from whatever evil had befallen the film set. Baba Ifagemi cast divination chains. He studied the patterns. His face darkened. "Mama Okafor," he said slowly, The evil is not around your son. The evil is your son. The old priest's hands trembled as he explained what the oracle revealed. This child was born with two souls, one human, one something else, an Abiku spirit that refused to leave. But this one is different. This one wants to feed. Mama Okafor grabbed her son and fled, calling the Babalawo a fraud, a jealous old man trying to destroy her child's success. She should have listened. More victims. Over the next 3 years, 6 more people connected to Chinedu disappeared or were found dead in circumstances that baffled police. A makeup artist who joked about Chinedu's creepy smile, a producer who'd criticized his acting, a young actress who'd rejected his advances, a security guard who'd caught him somewhere he shouldn't be, 2 street children from his old neighborhood in Ajigunle. Each death was different, but each bore signs of something deeply disturbed. The killer was organized, careful, but also seemed to take pleasure in the violence itself. Lagos police were overwhelmed. They called it the work of a cult. Some blamed armed robbers. Others whispered about ritual killings for money magic, Yahoo Plus. Nobody suspected the teenage Nollywood star with the innocent face. The child who whispered. Ngozi, now 15 years old, couldn't stay silent anymore. She'd kept journals, taken photos of evidence she'd found, recorded strange sounds from her brother's room at night. She went to a young police detective named Inspector Adeyemi, known for actually caring about solving cases rather than collecting bribes. At first, he didn't believe her. Chinedu Okafor, the actor? Impossible. But Ngozi's evidence was compelling. The timeline matched, the scratches she'd photographed on her brother, the hidden items she'd found in his room, jewelry that matched what victims had been wearing. Inspector Adeyemi began to investigate quietly, carefully. The trap was set during the filming of Chinedu's latest movie, a big-budget thriller shooting in a mansion in VGC. Inspector Adeyemi and his team watched from hidden positions. Chinedu, now 17, had been showing interest in a new young actress, following the same pattern Ngozi had documented. Late that night, after the crew had left, Chinedu returned to the mansion. The police followed at a distance. They watched as he entered through a back window. They heard a scream. When they burst in, they found Chinedu standing over the girl, his hands around her throat, his face twisted into an expression of pure ecstasy. Not anger, not rage, pure joy. Finally, he said when they grabbed him, still smiling, I was tired of pretending. In the interrogation room at Panti police station, Chinedu spoke for 8 hours straight. No remorse, no tears, just cold clinical details about what he'd done and why. People are so easy to fool, he explained calmly. Cry a little on camera and they think you have feelings. Smile and they think you are kind. But I've been watching humans since I was small. You are all so breakable. And breaking you is the only thing that makes me feel anything. He described each murder in detail. The planning, the execution, the pleasure. That girl, Amara, she trusted me completely. That's what made it perfect. The investigators sat in stunned silence. Some wept, others had to leave the room. The question that haunts. The trial became national news. Nollywood was rocked to its core. Parents across Nigeria looked at their children differently. How could someone so young be so evil? The lawyers tried to claim mental illness. The family brought in pastors for deliverance. Religious leaders debated whether this was a psychiatric case or genuine demonic possession. Baba Ifagemi, the Ifa priest, was interviewed by newspapers. He said, I told them, some spirits are not meant to wear human skin, but in our modern world we ignore the warnings of the old ways. We call evil mental illness and think we can cure it with medicine and prayer. Some darkness is older than that. Chinedu Okafor was convicted of 7 murders. Because he was a minor when he committed most of them, Nigerian law struggled with how to sentence him. He showed no remorse throughout the trial. He smiled for the cameras. He waved to the crowds. In his final statement before sentencing, he said, the only thing I regret is getting caught. I had so many more planned. He was sentenced to life imprisonment in Kirikiri Maximum Security Prison. Today, Ngozi Okafor works for advocates for victims' families and speaks about recognizing warning signs in children. She carries the guilt of not speaking sooner, though everyone tells her she was just a child herself. My brother taught me something, she says. Evil doesn't always look like evil. Sometimes it wears a beautiful mask. Sometimes it wins awards and makes people cry with its performances. Sometimes it's the person everyone trusts. In Kirikiri prison, Chinedu is now in his 20s. Guards report that he's a model prisoner, polite, helpful, always smiling. But they also report something else. Other inmates are terrified of him. Not because of violence, he's never violent inside, because of his eyes. When he looks at you, one guard reported, it's like he's studying you, like he's figuring out how to take you apart. Closing words. Our elders have always